I love Studio Ghibli. It is a studio from Japan. They have beautiful cartoon drawings, films, and there's an AI craze and everyone's doing it. You put your photo into ChatGPT and say, like, recreate me in the style of Studio Ghibli.
Did it not kind of come hand in hand with ChatGPT kind of adding a lot of like photo options?
Yes.
Even if you aren't super familiar with Studio Ghibli like films and like creative output, you'd have seen it on social media if you're a social media user in the last 10 days or so. But it's kind of opened the floodgates on the AI creativity,
100%.
copyright,
100%.
debate, which has been bubbling for quite some time.
It's been bubbling for so long, especially here in the newsroom. Okay, we are looking at AI all the time, down the barrel. What is coming next for us? What is coming in the terms of this industry? Hello, everybody. We will be speaking today about the AI trend of turning people into Ghibli characters.
And having a look at what to expect from the new season of Black Mirror.
This is Culture Bites, coming to you every Thursday from the National News. I'm Enas and Farah.
And I'm Farah Andrews.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. There's so much to talk about.
We had a week off and now we're back and we've got to chat.
Yeah, we had a week off. And I know you've been wedding planning. Oh. And I've been looking over your shoulder at different things.
In my break.
In your breaks, obviously. Mina, if you're listening. No. I've been watching, we had a little scan today of bouquets.
A little tete-a-tete about flowers.
Yes.
Yeah. I am. We're in the thick of it. We're in the thick of wedding planning.
It's so exciting. There's nothing more exciting than throwing a party about love.
Oh, isn't that a nice way of wording it?
That's what it is.
And also, I've learnt nothing more expensive.
Yes, it's very expensive. I don't want to terrify you, but there is apparently a chart of like, if the more you spend on the wedding, the less likely it is to succeed. So don't spend too much.
No, I think we are being sensible. We aren't like making particularly extravagant decisions. It's just like decisions like, oh yeah, I'd like a photographer. And it's like, oh, that's a month's wage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Obviously, I appreciate that it's not just one day's work. There's editing that goes into it. It's a lot.
Huge.
But I was surprised.
I have to admit, I got married a really long time ago. Let's not talk about how long ago because I like to pretend I'm really young. But I got married when I was a child. And because we were so broke at the time, like we were just, idiots in our mid-20s. It was just kind of like, Tom, do you mind doing the photos? Other Tom, do you mind doing the invitations?
So that's we haven't because we're getting married in Scotland. I've got a family in Scotland, but we don't have like Tom.
No, there were a few Toms.
If it was in Dubai, I'd have a few Toms.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky. One of my very good friends she's designing our wedding stationery. Oh. And she is an incredible designer. Shout out Michelle Clements. And she is wonderful. So I've definitely got people that are being amazing around me.
We're digressing.
We digress.
We have so much to talk about. Studio Ghibli. Now, do you know about Studio Ghibli? Obviously, because you work in these arts and whatnot.
Yes, you speak to me. Yes,
I love Studio Ghibli. It is a studio from Japan. They have beautiful cartoon drawings, films. And there's an AI craze which has taken over. I think it was overeed. I would say it was overeed.
I'd say the real push for it was like early last week.
Yeah, and everyone's doing it. So you could put your photo. Did you do it?
No, of course I didn't.
You put your photo into ChatGPT and say, like, recreate me in the style of Studio Ghibli.
Did it not kind of come hand in hand with ChatGPT kind of adding a lot of like photo options?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's AI. Kind of like just kind of, I suppose, like going into like this kind of like arty but very viral world, and people just using it. Probably people that have never used ChatGPT before probably decided to use it to try and hop on this trend. Mm-hmm. I did. I did it. No, my husband did it. He did it for all of us, and then my cousins in the UK were doing it, and then I've got like a Studio Ghibli style drawings now of my cat.
I mean, it's cute.
It's cute.
It is cute. People, even if you aren't super familiar with Studio Ghibli like films and like creative output, you'd have seen it on social media if you're a social media user in the last 10 days or so. They're the kind of like hyper cute,
super cute, in Japanese style
animations of just general real life, but it's kind of opened the floodgates on the AI creativity,
100%.
copyright,
100%
debate, which has been bubbling for quite some time.
It's been bubbling for so long, especially here in a newsroom. Okay, we are looking at AI all the time, down the barrel. What is coming next for us? What is coming in the terms of this industry? Now, I just want to sidetrack and say, suddenly, more interested in people are interested in Studio Ghibli, which has meant that like their viewership has gone up. There's been exhibitions that have been like more sold out. More people are Googling the term.
What, in like the last week?
In the last couple of weeks, yeah.
I mean, okay, that's positive.
And if you haven't seen Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle, they are two of my most favourite, bestest ever animation films ever.
But then it's to the detriment of kind of the core of Studio Ghibli, right? The creator...
Yes.
Miyazaki, I'm saying that correctly?
Yeah.
He said in 2016 that the use of AI in art, he spoke about it and he said, "I'm utterly disgusted. I would never want to incorporate this technology into my work at all. I feel strongly that this is an insult to life itself." So that's like, it kind of is...
Well, this is it.
Directly at odds with what it is to be a piece of Studio Ghibli art.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing, that we've seen like everybody excited about something, everybody sharing something, and now interested in that studio going up. But on the flip side, you have this incredibly well-renowned studio from Japan, and the curator, Miyazaki, just kind of probably being a bit cross about it all.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen styles go viral, right? Like
Wes Anderson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I would argue that with a lot of the accidentally Wes Anderson
brilliant
photos, that they are still people just taking photographs. They aren't people that are kind of editing or putting a filter on. And there is the kind of like time and work that goes into composing those images to kind of make them look Wes Anderson-esque. I would say that some of the like early doors, there were the kind of like Andy Warhol filters where you could kind of put the pop art on anything.
Yeah.
And
I think it's with everything. It's a trend. It will kind of fade away. And I think in about a month's time, it would look really old news.
I mean, I got an invitation to a party and they had like Ghibli'd their garden.
That's cute.
It was cute.
Especially here.
And
is it in the UAE?
No, the party's in London. I responded, I was like, what a beautiful Ghibli garden. And they didn't acknowledge my observation. I was like, you can't pretend your garden's not been Ghibli'd.
That's a Ghibli.
I think, though, that we have to kind of speak about some of the really controversial posts.
More controversial. So, yeah, I was like, we were working on shift, and the Israeli army had posted renders of their soldiers in this Ghibli style, right? And they tweeted out like, we hopped on this Ghibli trend. Now, it's problematic in so many ways that we can't even go into. One is Studio Ghibli in itself is anti-war.
I was going to say like one of the core themes of Studio Ghibli films is pacifism.
Yeah,
and you've now got, even if there are war scenes in a Studio Ghibli film, they are like the overall message comes with pacifism. Mm-hmm. The Israeli army are currently anything but pacifist.
Yeah. So it triggered huge backlash. It's also like, from a very like standoff point of view, you're just trying to make an army. This is any army, okay? Any army, trying to make them look cute and cuddly and in a style of somebody who's profoundly anti-war is problematic.
I guess like there is, I mean, if I was going to try and, like every soldier is a human, right? And they are all humans making decisions every day, and there is brainwashing and there is like level. But we can't, like very essence of like cutifying them and turning them into like it is a cartoon and what's happening isn't real. It's horrifying.
Yeah, it's really it made me like my skin crawl slightly, and it definitely went viral. I mean, we had it in the newspaper, and we've had an article as well. So if you want to read up more about this or see anything about it, please do go to the national website. You'll be able to see the said images.
There was another post I wanted to touch on really briefly, and it was from the White House. Did you see this?
No.
The White House shared on X. So the White House shared a photo of a woman being arrested. They claimed that she was an illegal immigrant from the Dominican Republic and that she was a fentanyl drug seller. And I haven't verified all three of those claims, but the woman was arrested, and there was a photograph of her on the White House's Twitter of the moment around her arrest. And then the White House retweeted the picture with an ICE agent in Ghibli style with her. And I just thought, this isn't real life. When did we start animating moments of arrest and kind of turning them into like a cartoon or something to be like mocked or othered? I don't know. I
think in that respect, I'm hoping that this AI trend in particular, it will, I do sincerely believe it will just like kind of fade and fizzle away. But it is, as you said at the beginning of this segment, opening up the floodgates to AI and like what that means. And I think like a really interesting thing for us, especially coming in from this world where we are looking at news all the time and we're trying to make sure and verify it's the news and not fake news, is AI imagery. And like, how do we make sure that we are telling the truth and we're making sure that our people know the truth? And I think I suppose there's as an individual, you have to be more aware now. Just be more aware that what you're seeing, whether it's a video, a photograph, it could be completely fake.
I mean, like for a very long time, we've had Photoshop. Photoshop has been able to alter things pretty extremely for a long time. That isn't new, but at least it wasn't instant and it wasn't completely computer generated. At least there was some kind of human action in that. I guess we still need to have a human on the computer kind of generating these AI prompts. Have you tried, this isn't ChatGPT, but the Meta's AI generator that now comes automatically in WhatsApp?
No, but my friends love it.
Do they?
Yeah. I haven't. I know it's going to happen where you're going to use AI tools more than you do like a Google search. Like people are doing that.
I sit in meetings and I watch people ask ChatGPT for the answers to conversations that people are having in the meetings around me. We can talk about that later if you want.
I want to know names.
People and other of my friends have used it like a search engine.
Yes. I'm kind of getting more and more used to the idea of using it as a tool, like as something that assists me in my day-to-day life.
But we have to check every single thing it generates. 100%. And none of it's...
This is the thing, is that when I've been speaking to experts, as you know, like at the National and many news organisations, we now have like teams of people working on AI and in AI. And we're really conscious of where the news comes to then be digestible. So we're trying to see whether we can just do AI which only looks at the National. Only look at the National without it being prompted? Like, how do we make sure that the National becomes your funnel rather than the whole of the internet? Because what happens with the whole of the internet is things slip through and there are biases, whether they're like racist, Islamophobic, whatever biases that could then filter through AI tools. And that's something that we're kind of like looking into.
We did a story earlier this year comparing ChatGPT and Bard with questions about Islam and Palestine. And it was really interesting. It was interesting. It gave pretty to be expected answers about, it was kind of like what's the solution for peace in Israel and Palestine? And I can't remember exactly, but they both kind of said something along the lines of a two-state. And then there was we asked it questions about... I should have reread this before this story, but it was only a few weeks ago. We asked it kind of more general questions about kind of like life in this region, and some of them, they were both pretty balanced. However, if you asked it very specific questions, like where do you go to get the best shawarma in Abu Dhabi, it gave like places in Dubai. So it doesn't, that it's wrong.
Yeah, especially as somebody who lives in Abu Dhabi.
I know where to get the best shawarma.
I know where to get the best shawarma. It's Bab al Khitiyar, by the way.
Oh, there you
Bab
go.
al Khitiyar. That's the best shawarma I've
You
had so far.
do not need to go to ChatGPT for that question.
Do you know what? Also, are we taking the fun out of life? Like, there was a time when we all liked searching for things and finding out things and like, you know, the books. And then it was, I mean, then I suppose Google. And now it's just like AI
What I was going to say, like, remember 10, 15 years ago when Wikipedia first came along and we were all like I was studying and everything was like, do not use Wikipedia as a source. Do not use Wikipedia as a source.
It can be changed.
It can be wrong.
Altered, yeah.
And we've now all got very used to how to use Wikipedia. We don't go onto Wikipedia and take it as verbatim. We use it as like a launch pad and then we go off and do research elsewhere. I use Wikipedia as like sourcing and indexing more than I use Wikipedia to kind of go to original source. But like it makes sense, right? Because it takes you to the links
100%.
and then you can see where that quote or that claim or suggestion came from, blah, 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 blah. Is that how we're now going to start using ChatGPT?
I think so. I think we're all going to find a way of using this new tool in a way that like works. And hopefully what it does do is it kind of just takes away the slog and we can just become even more creative with it. We can do like more things and it won't be all like, you know, that kind of, I just remember like the like drenching through stuff. I am a bit worried though about my children, whether they're ever going to write an essay for themselves.
They're probably not.
But maybe that's what life's going to be.
I'm worried about us in a season's time because I've read that there's already like completely AI generated podcasts. So they've got enough of our voice on tape so they don't even need us.
Our producer's just nodding her head.
She's like, yes, that is right. We do not need you anymore.
We do not need you anymore. Should we take a little break?
Oh, on that note, I need one. AI doesn't need a break though.
Back from the break. We are back.
We are back. We're going from talking about the terrifying future of technology to...
talking about the future of terrifying technology.
Here we are. It's a very upbeat episode.
It's so upbeat. We're going to be talking about Black Mirror. It's back.
Season 7.
Is it? Season 7. Sabah seasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have had 28 episodes in total already. Do you know how I know? Because Evelyn ranked them.
I know.
And I edited that story.
So if you are, watching this and you're like, whoa, I need to know where to start on Black Mirror. Again, I sound like a broken record. Go to the national website. We have our amazing reporter, Evelyn, who's actually watched all the episodes again.
So I can't pretend she's done that. She probably has in her own time. But she has collated the rankings based on IMDb rankings. So it's slightly impartial. It's an impartial critic-led metric. So it's kind of like number 1 is actually the best episode.
Oh.
And then up to 28.
Oh. Interesting. So let's talk a little bit about what Black Mirror is. Black Mirror is every single episode is a new story. It's a complete work of fiction from the mind of Charlie Brooker, mainly. He's the main writer.
Yeah.
He kind of worked and dabbled in comedy in the UK. He has a very dry, dark sense of the world.
Like a real satirist, like through and through, I'd say.
100. He used to do a great yearly roundup.
Yeah.
He stopped doing that. I loved that. I waited for that every year. Oh, loved it. Anyway, he has, because he's so brilliant, he's managed to team up with incredible actors and writers to create this very dark dystopian series. And as I said, it works on a different story, theme, sci-fi led, almost always sci-fi led story, little short stories.
Episodes are there's always a kind of like root in technology and the way that technology is kind of like married into life. Some episodes are a very close future. Some episodes almost feel present, but just like with like slight tweaks in the way we use technology. Other episodes are complete sci-fi, like the USS Callister. That is literally kind of like Star Trek style in a spaceship.
Yeah. Nosedive is quite...
I think that's quite near. That's on my list as well.
Is it?
Yeah. So the episodes they often have... They have a theme that will kind of stay with you, some pretty overarching kind of like, some head scratchers, and some of them are quite bleak. Actually, most of them are quite bleak.
Very bleak. This is not the kind of program you watch when you're just feeling a little bit delicate.
If you're feeling a bit despondent, don't start Black Mirror.
Do not start Black Mirror. Just don't. Should
we talk about some of the episodes in the new series?
Yeah, and then we can talk about what episodes we like.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about ourselves.
Okay.
The new series has a pretty A-star cast. We're talking Peter Capaldi, Chris O'Dowd. I love Chris O'Dowd. And his wife, but she's not in this. Yeah. Rashida Jones. Very big fan of Rashida Jones. Tracy Ellis Ross. Issa Rae. Will Poulter.
Huge.
Paul Giamatti.
Huge.
Big names.
I once did karaoke with Chris O'Dowd's wife. We'll talk about that another time.
That's something that I'm very sad about me
I'm
doing.
so sorry. I've interviewed Will Poulter. He's very fun. And if Zahra is listening to this, Zahra and him are friends, and she made me say it on the red carpet. It was very embarrassing. Anyway,
there we go.
Anyway, so this is going to be, I think it's going to be probably one of his biggest seasons yet for Charlie.
So series 6 was not the best received in terms of critic ratings, but everything is looking like series 7 is going to be pretty punchy. It's going to be good.
And when is it out?
Today, if you're listening, on Thursday the 10th of April.
Whoa.
On Netflix. So the episodes, there are a couple of kind of key points. There is a sequel to one of the kind of cult favorites, USS Callister, that I kind of mentioned already, the Star Trek style one. It's called, the new episode is USS Callister Into Infinity. And that's so kind of like that episode. Do you remember that episode? It stars Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
And he is a man that he runs a business, and then he isn't very popular at work. So he creates an alternate reality with his staff and he's the captain of the ship, and he makes them do. I
think I remember this. It's very funny, that episode.
It's a lot. So there's a sequel, and then also an episode called Plaything.
Yeah.
Which looks like it's set to be a sequel to Bandersnatch. Do we remember Bandersnatch?
So Bandersnatch was a really highly anticipated, brilliant, on its own episode, I believe. It was a special. It was over Christmas. And it was the first kind of interactive Netflix adult program. Because I remember there was as a mum, there was Boss Baby that you could do the same with, right? But this was, Bandersnatch was kind of taking it to another level, where you used your own remote control and you could control where the narrative of the story went.
So there were more than, I think I read that there were more than 300 minutes of footage shot for that. So if we think about like an episode of Black Mirror will be about 50 to 60 minutes. So it's 350 plus minutes, and I think 150 options, which meant that in the kind of programming journey, there were more than 1 trillion possible journeys for the viewer to take. So based on that, it's so highly unlikely that any two people have ever had the exact same viewing experience of Bandersnatch.
I did it a couple of times, I have to admit.
Did you always have the same?
No.
So the thing about this, we don't really know what. So the episode that is a potential Bandersnatch sequel is Plaything. An eccentric loner has an obsession with a mysterious 1990s video game,
which is kind of what Bandersnatch is about. Yeah.
So based on the trailer, it looks like Will Poulter is going to be back as Colin Rittman.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, he is. But the thing about a Bandersnatch sequel is that, does that not kind of completely negate the whole point of Bandersnatch? If we now know what happened.
Oh, you're taking it too seriously.
Am I?
Yeah.
But then people know what happens, so then there's no point of that episode.
But you don't know what happens though, because it's still open-ended as far as I can't remember.
No. But if there's a sequel, it means that there is a resolution.
I don't know. I'm lost.
You're like, I come here with nothing.
I'm literally lost now. I'm like, maybe. I don't know. Oh. That's my answer.
Hey.
Yeah. Watch it.
It might not be though, because we know how Charlie Brooker works. So it could be a game.
This whole thing might be a game. I think this podcast might be a game. I'm looking around. Are these people real?
Do you want to talk to us about your favourite episode?
So my favourite episode. So my favourite episode, I have two favourite episodes, but I think one of them you already said you were going to mention.
Oh, I have two options also in case you mentioned it. So
okay, so I do like okay, Black Museum starred Letitia Wright, who is in Black Panther. I think she is like, I remember when she first came onto the scene, I can't remember what I saw her in first, but I just remember thinking, oh my God, I love this actress. She is so emotional. She's brilliant. And I straight away went and found out that she was like performing in the Young Vic, which is a theatre that was like close to my house in London. And I saw her in The Convert, which was an amazing drama. And I was like really close to her. And you know that feeling where you're just like, oh. And I was like fangirling somebody who was actually like definitely a rising star in the UK scene. Like she wasn't that well known. She hadn't starred in Black Panther yet when I went to go and see her in The Convert. So it was brilliant. But she stars in one episode of Black Mirror, which is called Black Museum. And it's about a traveller who stumbles across a black museum in a kind of like eerie, you know, that kind of Americana way. That Americana, like, oh, it's in the back of a gas station and there's like a weird museum. It's very like that. Really, and it kind of hit a lot of those kind of like those notes on black culture in America, which I thought for Charlie Brooker to be writing about this was like super brave. And it was really brave now because in retrospect, this was before Black Lives Matter. He wrote this before. So I think there's a lot of people now, it's become part of common culture that when something weird kind of happens or something kicks off, we're like, oh, it's like an episode of Black Mirror. But it's kind of like, I just feel like he's got this like anthropological way of looking on society, and he's kind of future predicting in a way.
I mean, in a terrifying way. The cool thing about that episode is that it's full of like little Easter eggs of episodes of Black Mirror.
Yes.
So there are little nods to all the little kind of brings all the worlds together.
Yeah.
If there was a Black Mirror universe. Okay,
which one's yours?
Or
one of yours.
I really like Nosedive, which is the Bryce Dallas Howard episode where everyone is rated.
So good.
And you get through life based on ratings.
I think the thing that sticks with this is when you were saying about things being quite close, is you can just smell. Yeah. You can smell that kind of like future.
That world is not dystopian. That is near dystopian. That is there.
Yeah.
There are
pockets of it already.
Places already that you don't go unless you've got X amount of followers.
Yeah.
There are places already that you can't do unless you've got this social status. I mean, social status has been a thing forever. That's not a new thing. But technology based and measured, it's very real.
It's very real. And the funny thing about Nosedive is it just takes it, like he always does, to the absolute extreme. And the characters just put through like a whirlwind because of her social rating going down.
Yeah.
As the episode prolongs. And you watch it go down and you're kind of like on this anxiety train with her. Really fun episode.
Another one that I wanted to mention is one that I was surprised in our list that it isn't very highly rated. It's Joan is Awful. Do you remember that one?
Joan is Awful. I loved that episode.
I liked it.
This is the one where she thinks she sees herself.
So
yes.
Nailed
Explain
it.
She sees herself in a reality TV show.
Is a woman does something mean at work during the day. She has to fire somebody. She's played by Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek, which is a show I absolutely love. Brilliant. And so she has to fire somebody during the day. Then she goes home. She's comfy on the sofa, and she starts watching this new Netflix show. Has the old da-dum, and she realizes that Sam Hayek is kind of portraying her exact day. And then it is just basically that her life has now become the latest must-watch Netflix series.
It's so funny.
And then she's kind of like, how is this allowed? How is this allowed? And then it's all about the kind of what we sign up for in the T's and C's. We all do it. Scroll down to the very bottom. Do you read all those terms and conditions when Apple sends you a little nudge saying...
And see, he's so clever. He's picked up on that thing that we all do, that we shouldn't do, that we do.
And I think it's pretty on the nose from Netflix. I don't really want to be like the big business fangirl, but I like that they've kind of had enough of a sense of humor to be like, oh yeah, we do that. I mean, I don't like that they do it.
Yeah.
But, I like that episode. And I like Annie Murphy.
Yeah, it's great.
Two big statements from Farah.
I can't remember. There was one episode that I've actually forgotten where it's like a love story. Is it the one where there's
like about San Junipero? That's like the one, like very positive one.
Yeah,
that everyone likes. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Watch that if you're not into dystopia or you don't want to be like watch San Junipero. That's a lovely episode.
I will finish this with the top 3 episodes. So the top 3 impartially rated episodes of Black Mirror are: in third place, Black Museum. So you have a highly rated favourite. Second place, Hang the DJ. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
That is the episode where a new dating system basically tells people how long they've got. So it'll be like 12 hours you're going to like each other for, 5 years, 70 years.
I know. I don't know. Yeah.
And then Charlie Brooker has described that as kind of like Spotifying love based on like your algorithm and how you do it. So I thought that was interesting. And in the top spot is White Christmas, which is the episode that stars John Hamm. It was a Christmas special of, I think, series 2, very early on. It was a Channel 4 episode.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I'll give you the blurb. In a remote snowy outpost, 2 men share stories to pass the time. So I'm going to start that again. In a remote snowy outpost, 2 men share stories to pass the time. Their tales reveal dark technological advancements, including a device that blocks people in real life. Dun, dun, dun. And then they discover ways that their lives overlap, obviously. So yeah.
I quite like the idea of blocking people in real life. I won't lie.
I do it.
See, ghosts. Do I block? I should. I need to block more people. Recommendation for the week is, for me, actually we went to go together. Kings and Queens of Africa, Forms and Figures of Power at the Louvre in Abu Dhabi. It is a remarkable exhibition. I've said this once, I'll say it again. The way they put things in, the way they curate at the Louvre is different to anything I've seen anywhere else. It's not historically based. It's more about a journey of culture. Yeah. This is a journey of culture on African kings and queens, which goes old, it comes present, and it's multimedia. You will see sculptures, you will see costume, you will see fabric, you will see paintings, you will see textile work. It is stunning. It began in January. Farah and I were very, very lucky. We got to go and see it along with a lot of other people from the National as part of a kind of like an open evening. Yeah. And it's just beautiful. You have to catch it though soon. It finishes this May. So go now because you've only got a couple of months.
As soon as you finish listening to this podcast, go.
Yeah, go.
My recommendation is pretty simple and something we've spoken about quite a lot. It is No Other Land. It is now available to rent and buy here in the UAE. So it is the Oscar-winning Israeli-Palestinian best documentary that came out last year. Did not find very many distributors, but did win an Oscar and has been much spoken about by us on this podcast. You can now rent it on Apple TV in this country for 20 dirhams or buy it for 50 dirhams. I will give a PSA. If your Apple TV account is registered to the UK or the US or another country, if it does not have the international distributor, you won't be able to find it. So you have to go via OSM. So there are still hurdles because it is. I also want to shout out some TV trash because I love it.
Go.
I started watching a TV show called $1 Million Secret on Netflix. It's basically like The Traitors.
Is it good?
Is it good? I've devoured it.
Oh my God, it keeps coming up on my recommendations list.
Treat yourself.
Okay, fine. That's me done for this evening. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like this episode, please follow, like, subscribe, and share our episodes around with your friends and family.
And be sure to follow @The National Arts on Instagram and catch new episodes of Culture Bites every Thursday.
Bye.